I'll keep it short so we can get to questions. FYI, I'm on a car ride. I've got a beautiful wife chauffeur right now, taking me to the airport to go have fun with Will Lutz for a little bachelor party action. And so I'm looking forward to hanging with those guys. But look, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude and just thanks. The experience I've had with the Saints has been, there's not one part of it that I would complain about, or, the whole thing's just been outstanding. And I'm obviously sad to be moving on from the team. But it's not as if I haven't prepared for this moment in a lot of different ways. But it is shocking. And I'm just grateful to all of you in the media. I obviously had, the season I had wasn't to the normal standard that I've set. And there's a variety of reasons for that. And, I just felt like you guys have always treated myself and my teammates with fairness and with, integrity. And I just appreciate that. So, all I'd say is New Orleans has been amazing to me and my family. We're in the process of building our home right now here. This is home, regardless of where the rest of my career takes me. My kids have all been born here, and the fans and our supporters, it's just been exceptional. And so that's all I got.
We will open it up for some questions now. Following our protocols, if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand, and Mackenzie will call on you.
Andrew Doak, why don't you go ahead?
Hey, Thomas. Andrew Doak here from CBS in New Orleans. Look, I know you kind of touched on it a little bit there, but I imagine even though your time with the Saints is ending, that you're still going to be a staple in around the New Orleans community for a while.
Well, I certainly hope so. It's too big of there's so much information to take in and different ways your brain goes. But we wouldn't have started this build on this home if there was any doubt about where we want it to be. We're making a large investment in building this home, and so we had that conversation actually before we moved forward. If the situation changes here, does that change how we feel about being here? And once we answered that emphatically, no, it doesn't change. Then we started doing it. So it's like I said, I'm a little bit, I'm a lot sad, and this has been my life for the past 12 years here in New Orleans. And I have no resentment. I have nothing but positive, overflowing emotions. I have so many people to thank and so many people that have supported me. And that's that.
Luke Johnson.
Yeah, Thomas, I guess just knowing the position the team is in, were you kind of anticipating this was a possibility this year, maybe more than others?
Yeah, look, I think, I would say, let's just call it what it was. It was a unique year, so there wasn't a lot of access with us, which was probably a good thing for me. I didn't meet any of the standards that I've set for myself in previous years this year. And there's a number of reasons for that. When you're the highest paid player at your position, the expectation is that you're playing at an elite level. And I didn't do that last year. And I think it was pretty clear to see that I didn't do that. I've never been the biggest boomer in the league, or at least not tried to be. I've just always been a guy that relies on elite consistency. And I think it was pretty clear that that was lacking this year. And so, to say I'm surprised because there wasn't more of a conversation around any other way for me to try to stick around or come back and show that some of the things that were issues for me aren't going to be issues moving forward. But that's out of my control. And like I said, I have nothing but just total love and respect and everything for how the team has treated me through the years and how they've it's just, like I said, whatever expectation I could have possibly had going into a career is just totally, totally blown it out of the water. And so I'm just very grateful.
Fletcher Mackel.
Thomas, obviously your career started here, your rookie season with ambush, and everybody's kind of, is so synonymous with that play. Is there another moment, or is it hard to put into kind of, words, one moment that may stick out, or do you kind of look at it all together now? I can see it's kind of emotional talking about it. Just, is it the teammates? Is it the plays? Is it just a little bit of everything when you think of it as a whole?
Look, there's certainly plays that stick out in my mind that maybe won't stick out in anybody else's mind. The last punt of the NFC Championship game against the Vikings when I was a rookie, we were 28-28, tie game, 2 minutes and something left, punting to Brett Favre, and Coach said, I'll paraphrase because the language wasn't exactly the same, but Coach grabbed me by the shoulders and as I was running out on the field on fourth down and said, give me some hang time with a little more intensity than that. And I just remember thinking, I better hit a great ball here, because if I do anything less than spectacular, they're pretty much in field goal range already. And Ryan Longwell that year was like 26-28, Mr. Automatic. And I hit one of the punts of my career, and we grossed 58, netted 53, and they got this close to kicking a field goal, and they didn't. And we all know what happened. And for me individually, that was a big source of pride that I'll never forget.
Nick Underhill.
In your opening remark, you alluded to wherever your career takes you. Do you intend to keep playing, and would you go somewhere else to do that?
Absolutely, I would. There were some things that all synergized to having a pretty significant drop off this year. I hurt my back this summer before training camp, and I couldn't train leading up to camp, and that really affected me. I think the one thing that could ask anybody in the building that they've grown to know as a certainty is that I'm going to show up to camp in phenomenal shape. And I didn't do that this year. And it wasn't because I slacked off or thought I'm past that. It was what it was. And I just was laid up for a while leading up to camp. And then, when you're not physically yourself, your tool bag isn't as quality as it usually is, and that can affect your confidence and it can affect your consistency. And so, the other thing is just, I've been dealing with an eye issue for about 1.5 years now. And I'm fairly certain that that's resolved now, but it's been a long process of just kind of dealing with not quite sure what you're seeing all the time. That's a lot more complicated than I'm telling you in 15 seconds, but I'm very certain that we've got a plan to get that corrected. And so I do think there are some, hope is a good thing to have, but I think there's some rational changes that I'll be making. Number one, I felt like I did get stronger as the season went along. There's no doubt about that. And once I ditched the wearables that I was wearing, about 9 weeks into the season, my consistency got a lot better, and I had some really strong performances towards the end of the season. but just all in all, it wasn't consistent enough. And but I do think there's reason to expect that is correctable. And like I said, I have these metrics in the weight room and running and jumping and all these things that I've kind of measured throughout my career, and there's no sort of physical orthopedic decline. So I know we still did some great things this year. We netted in the top 10 for the 11th consecutive year, which I think we're the only team that's done that. They can say that. We broke an NFL record this year, least punt return yards allowed. So in my conservative nature as the season went along and dealing with what I was dealing with, I just hung the ball up and didn't kick it as far, and tried to still control the game with the team we had. And so, like I said, I have every expectation that I will, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to be Superman or I'm going to be the best player, anything like that. I have a realistic thought that I can regain my form, but time will tell, and I'll look forward to hopefully having that opportunity here this year.
Chris Dunnels.
Hey, Thomas, I'm sure before you've spoken with us, you've talked to some of your teammates potentially, and I was just curious if you had any parting messages with some of your former teammates, maybe like Drew from the Super Bowl team, or even some of the young guys like Blake.
I just we were hoping to hold this off until Monday, which was probably naive. I know the news just broke online, and the team was so great about it. They said, look, we can hold on to this as long as you want, just to give you a chance to collect yourself and kind of exit how you'd like, which is very gracious of them to even, offer that. So I haven't had a chance to talk to too many people. I did have Will Lutz and Zach Wood over to the house last night, mainly because we have a bachelor party starting today, and I didn't want to show up to the bachelor party with some downer news. So I thought I need to knock this out before we leave. And so I had those guys over last night, and, it's an emotional deal with those guys. They're really close friends, and, it's been an awesome deal to hopefully be a mentor, and hopefully those guys feel like I've helped curb their learning curve as quickly as possible to allow them to have the success that they're having. And I called Blake and left him a voicemail, and I told the team, look, I think Blake has all the intangibles to be a great player in this league. And, I've spent the last year investing in him and giving him my knowledge and wisdom and thoughts on how to do things and best practices. All the things that you have to give. I tried to give it all to him, and I just told him that, that I think he's got a great chance to be a great player for the team. And I just hope that, the fans and the organization, whoever's the next punter, shows the same sort of patience and commitment to letting a young person grow into that position like I was granted.
Larry Holder.
Hey, Thomas, normally this wouldn't be something we would do in the media, but I'm just going to say for myself, and I'm sure I'm speaking to so many, we appreciate everything you've done with working relationship and beyond that. So thank you for all of that. But on those same lines, how much do you feel just kind of overwhelmed by how much people appreciated you? I mean, let's be honest, it's not like punters get a lot of love from fan bases, but you're, one of the more, I'd say, people around New Orleans have so much kind of gratitude toward you. How much do you appreciate just what you've been shown by this fan base?
like I said, all expectations have been exceeded, multiplied, you know, and I just think my uncle sent me a message the other day that just said, you're one of the few young people who's had the privilege of understanding how good you had it while you had it. And that means you don't have any regrets. You didn't take anything for granted. And the whole thing has just it's been amazing. And I'm like, I keep repeating myself, but I'm just very grateful for just the entire experience. When people say don't invest in the team or don't invest in the city, it's kind of like saying you're never going to love somebody because you're worried about getting hurt because at some point it's going to end. And I just didn't subscribe to that. I've been all in. I love this city, and man, they love me back 100 times more. And I'm just overwhelmed with positive, thankful energy. There's just so many people to thank. I don't want to single out anybody because if I really went through it, there'd be hundreds of people that have just been instrumental, have inspired me, have encouraged me. And it's just, I'm very grateful.
Ken Trahan.
Thomas, congratulations on a great stay here, obviously.
Thank you.
A terrific job. Look, from the standpoint of being drafted in the 5th round, a lot of people question drafting punters or kickers. You had a lot to prove over a 12-year period. You obviously dispelled any of those concerned notions. Talk about that, and then also about what was left on the field, only getting the one Super Bowl title when the opportunities were there from your perspective.
Well, I'll answer the second question first because I've already forgotten the first. Sorry, but I don't have any regrets about how any of it ended. That's why you play the game. The opportunity is just special to be a part of it. And I don't have any resentment or what if, because I know everybody was all in and we did our best. And I know that's simple and cliche, but it's true. It's been being a part of the history of the game. I've learned to appreciate the losses just like the wins, because you just know how special it is. You know how special it is to be a part of that and to have a team like that and to do something together. And it almost feels like we're the Buffalo Bills of the 2010s. I think people will there'll be a 30 for 30 about our team and how good we were and how much winning we did, and we just didn't get it done for a variety of reasons. But none of that matters. It's the people, the relationships, the grind. Being all in together, and I think that's one of the reasons people are so proud of being associated with our team and organization, is because I think for the most part, people like rooting for the good guys, and we just have a locker room full of them. And man, it's been an honor to just be a part of that.
Rod Walker.
Hey, Thomas, I know you haven't really had time to reflect on all this, but what is like the one thing that you want people to just remember about you and how you played the game here?
I think I'd like to be. I'd like to think that my teammates knew that they could count on me in big moments. I set out to be elitely consistent. That was my tag or my phrase. I wanted to be elite in my consistency. And I think I've done that. And I'm going to continue to do that. And I think, what did the city mean? Just the whole, people don't understand how awesome it is to just be, part of this team. I know everybody says they have the best fans in the world, and most people are lying. There's probably 4 teams in the league that can at least have an argument in that, and we're one of them. And man, no matter what I've done, start a foundation, do a foundation dinner, try to help an individual, the Cordero family before Chris passed away. People have just given the shirts off their back to be a part of that. And it's honestly why so many of the things I've done have gone so far. It's because I didn't have an out. Once I started doing things, people showed up and people supported, and I couldn't not keep going. It was, people were looking for that. People were looking to be a part of something where they're helping people or helping a group of people, helping a group of people. And, they got, I don't want to say I was bluffing, but, when people show up and they're like, yeah, we're here, which, what are you about? And I felt obligated to keep going and to keep pushing and to keep doing more things. And a lot of people give you props for doing these charities and all this other stuff, but it's just a testament to people down here, when they love you and when they support you. It's not with words, they actually do it. And man, that's where all the positive emotions are, just all those people and being part of that. And I just had the fortune of having a name that people knew, and and so I felt like I wanted to kind of push the needle on a few things, and man, people showed up and supported more than I ever thought was, if I didn't know how big it was going to get when I started, I probably wouldn't have started it, because it got to be so much work and so much energy. But it was like, I'm glad we did it all, and I look forward to doing more things in the future. Like I said, I'm not done playing, but New Orleans is home, and we'll be here and raising our family here. And I know I don't perfectly fit the mold of a New Orleanian, but I feel like one.
Mike Triplett.
Hey, Thomas, thanks for this on a tough day. Thanks for everything over the years, man.
You got it.
Had 2 for you real quick. You mentioned setting the record for fewest punt returns. Was any of that strategic based on how you were struggling? Were you purposely trying to alter your game to make sure they weren't returned, or is some of that coincidental?
Well, I think I've always looked at how can you help win the game, right? And look, in the past few years, we've had elite coverage, and we've also had now an elite returner and elite return team. And, I don't want to say get naturally more conservative, but I certainly did get more conservative, especially this year when I was struggling to find my consistency. And so, yeah, I certainly was a little more conservative because I just didn't trust myself the way I typically do, for the reasons I've noted. So, it's a cool thing to be able to say we did that as a group. And that's a credit to so many people, so many players that have been a part of that. So.
And then I just wanted to make sure I heard you correctly, so I'm not putting words in your mouth. You said the team did not talk to you about possibly staying at a reduced rate?
No, there wasn't a conversation about that. No, not at all. And I respect that. And like I said, I don't have any. All I have is positive emotions. I'm obviously sad, but I don't have any resentment or anything like that. Mickey Loomis in particular has been an awesome mentor, and I'm very grateful to have had him as a general manager and somebody that's always known the right thing to say at the right moment when there was a little bit of doubt, or I was dealing with a quad injury, or I had just signed a contract extension and I was feeling the pressure to be more than I had been. There's 10 different stories of that. And I'm just very grateful to Mickey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Just.
Thanks, Thomas. I know this has to be difficult for you.
Yep.
You've touched on this a little bit today, but you said last month that you were doing everything you could to get back to where you were before. How are you doing with your recovery there? And what, in your words, what do you think you still bring playing at the age of 34, almost 35? Happy birthday next week, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like I said, I'm not just randomly hoping that I'll just miraculously improve. My eyes, the team's known about this. We've kept everything in house, but the team know I got hurt this summer training, hurt my back, and that's something that I heard it in 2014 and I heard it in 2018 as well. So it's not a thing that I haven't had before, but the timing of it was very bad. And it lingered for longer than I'd like to, it lingered for weeks, not days. And so, that was tough. And then just getting my eyes situated, I thought I was going to get it addressed last off season, and between COVID and, some, let's call it misdiagnoses, it didn't get fixed, and it was a real struggle. And like I said, those are all reasons, my squatting, my jumping, my explosive things that I do, all the training I do, there's no physical drop off there. So I certainly expect to, get back to a very, very high level, and hopefully somebody's willing to take the chance to see if that's going to come to fruition.
Thank you for everything, Thomas. We're all set with questions.
Thomas, thank you very much for joining us. And I believe everybody has thanked you for your time and patience through the years and your insights. And I know that this isn't goodbye. This is just a see you later. So
absolutely, Doug.
Yeah,
Doug, thank you for setting everything up in the past 24 hours. And man, you're the real deal. And just appreciate the friendship, and everybody on this call. Thank you for just the fairness and integrity you've done your jobs with. It's been awesome feeling like I could give out my cell number and I could confide in people, and people would do the right thing. And it's just it's refreshing to know that is the case. And I'm very thankful for everything. So if anybody needs anything or wants to do a story at some point now or in the future, Doug can feel free to just hand out my number to whoever doesn't have it. I don't know if you even do that, but I just want to know that I'm accessible, and I do appreciate any sort of anything that you put out that's written that says, that the journey's not over for me, and that there's some real rational reasons as to why there's a reason for optimism that I can be the player that I have been, and I would appreciate that if anybody's looking to do that. And I will be on a bachelor party the next few days, so if you call me, I don't know if you should expect much. This timing couldn't be better. But I promise you won't see any headlines of me in the Miami Herald or anything. So thank you guys.